In this episode, I want to build a failover capable web server with my AlphaServers and OpenVMS. Hello viewers, welcome back to another episode, and in this episode I want to build a web server with OpenVMS. But this will not be any web server, this will be a failover capable web server using a VMScluster, and this failover capable thing is a thing where OpenVMS is known for, so especially in the days where OpenVMS were quite common. Today there are kind of other solutions, but yeah, this is DEC or OpenVMS channel, and therefore I will use OpenVMS, and there will be 3 different kind of web servers available for OpenVMS. One is OSU, one is WASD, and one is Apache. And there's also this book here by Alan Winston, OpenVMS with Apache, OSU, and WASD, the non-stop web server, where all of these 3 web servers and the configuration are described. But I will use Apache. And Apache on VMS is not called Apache, it's called Secure Web Server, and I will use a version from Compaq, so it is called Compaq Secure Web Server or CSWS. And the reason I am using Apache is because I'm most familiar with Apache, so I've worked a lot with Apache on Unix or on Windows or on Linux, therefore I will use Apache here. And for the new viewers, I'm using real hardware, so this is not some kind of emulated or virtual hardware I'm using real hardware, 2 AlphaServer 800s with OpenVMS 7.3-2. They are both connected to an enterprise storage area via SSE and an HFS70. And they have a common system disk for both servers, and they have also a common disk for the web server later. And this third node, AlphaServer DS10, in the VMScluster as well, but this I won't install the web server on that node. And all nodes are running at the moment, and I have the console here on my computer. Before I can start, or before I start the installation, there are some primary tasks necessary, but I've done these primary tasks. The first is I have to reduce the votes in the cluster because the access are not available at the moment. So before that I had 5 nodes, at the moment only 3, so the votes are reduced. And the other thing is Apache or CSWS needs an ODS 5 volume. So File 11, the file system for VMS, is in 2 different generations. I can say, well, let's say generations, ODS 2 and ODS 5. And when you use mixed cluster architecture with access and alphas, it's you should use ODS 2 volumes for the compatibility, but for the web server or for Apache you need an ODS 5 volume, therefore the web is an ODS 5 volume I've created before. So let's switch to the console of OpenVMS, to one of the servers, to start the installation. Yes, now we have one of the consoles of the AlphaServer 800s, and first we can see the devices, and you can see there is a device web data with the volume label depleter. It's $255 DKA 101, and there are several folders on that device. One is the www root, and one is the folder kits, and kits contains the installation files. And when we have a look at that device, $255 DKA 101, we can see this is an ODS 5 device connected to the HFS70 with 2 paths because there are 2 machines connected to that device. So let's have a look in the folder again, and then you can see several installation files for CSWS. also for Java and PHP, and I will install PHP later as well, but not Java. So Java is also copied but not used, and I will use the newest version. It's the SWS version 2.2, and first there I have to decompress that file. That is quite fast, I think. It decompresses the files to the folder. And if you have a look on the file directory content, again, you can see that there are some new files in the folder now. This is a result of the decompression of the installation file. And then I create a new folder, Apache, for where call not Apache, call it CSWS, for as a target for the installation later. Yeah, it's not CD. Yes, when you too much other operation systems, set def, and then let's see the content of the folder again, and then let's install the product via the command product install CSWS, and the destination is the folder I've created before on $255 DK1.1, the folder CSWS. Then we ask whether we want to install the product, and then it takes a while until the product is installed. So last 10% took a while, and then we will see some information about how to proceed the installation. So let's have a look in the folder CSWS, and there is a new folder Apache. And in that Apache there are several files and subfolders of the Apache installation. Also in the sysmanager there are some new Apache configuration files. There we see Apache config, and this Apache config is the important file for the next step. It's not an exe, it's a command file, so it's not run, it's add Apache config, and then we can add some things. Full name for the new user, Apache $www. This is a new user which is created by that configuration file. And you have to specify a full name for the user database, and I call it Apache administrator. And to enter a password for that user. And then a UIC group number. I choose free one, so 374, and a UIC member number 365. Those are unused numbers, and then it will create the user. And after that, I will change some security things to the files. And this also takes a while, so the ownership of the files to the new user takes some minutes. And then the configuration is finished, and also the installation of Apache, and we can start Apache with the command you can see over there at this $startup apachestartup.com. If you type it correct, then it starts without any further configuration. We have a running web server, and now let's have a look into a browser and see if we can have access to the server. And we can see, interestingly, this is in German, but we can see the Apache site. Use the next step, and the next step is the installation of PHP. And why I will install PHP? It's quite easy because I was a PHP developer a long time ago, before I started to work for the dark side or on the dark side. And the third thing is to stop the Apache before we install PHP with Apache $shutdown. And then let's go back to the folder containing the kits. There is also some PHP files, and also choose the newest PHP file, version 2.2, and that folder. So first also same procedure like installation of CSWS. First decompress the file. Then use product install for the installation, and it's just called CSWS PHP. Also specify the destination like before. Yes, I want to continue. Then it will install PHP. And that's everything. So we can start the server again, and it will run. There's no further configuration necessary. So on the next step, let's change the folder of the standard folder from the standard folder to the folder www-root, which I have created before, and there is you can see the typical Apache configuration file. And let's scroll down and to the document root, and you can see, because it's Apache, it's not the typical paths like on OpenVMS. It's a bit more Unix-like, so you have to use /$ and then the device and then / the subfolder. So DKA 1.1 / www-root, and also the directory information on, down there as well. You have to change to Unix style, and then and the editor, and the lines are written to the new configuration file version. And let's start up Apache. Another thing which is necessary is to set the security of the www root folder to the Apache user, otherwise I won't have access to that folder. And then I start the server again, and I will also create a new file, a file called phpinfo.php in the editor, just to see some information about the installed PHP version. It's a quite easy PHP file. I forget to the question mark must be PHP, and that's everything. So very short PHP file, but then we can see some information. So now we have the PHP info file, and we can see there is PHP 5.2.13 installed on the server, XP1 version 3.2-2 alpha on VMS. So let's switch to the other machine, to XP2, and you can see the other machine, XP2, and let's start the Apache server on this machine as well, because this is only one installation, because it's a common system disk. We do not have to install it again on that server, it's installed there automatically. There has access to everything, so I can start it. Let's have a look on the server, and here is the server. 22, and we can see the install. There's also another folder now, VMS doc. This contains the documentation of VMS. So now I have the possibility to document for the documentation or access all of the documentation of OpenVMS via the server. So I can access server via the browser, and the whole OpenVMS 7.3 documentation is on that server now. So now the basic works. One thing is missing, that is the startup. So let's edit this file code, startupvms.com, just to add Apache startup to that file, so that the Apache server is started on every startup process on VMS. And then both servers, because I've also only necessary to edit it on one machine, because it's for both installations as well. It's a common system file. After that, both servers, web servers are running on both machines with the same content. But there is something missing, and this is the failover capability. At the moment we have two machines with two different IP addresses, but there is no failover at the moment, and this is the thing we have to add as well. And for that, there's technology called FailSafe IP, and I will use FailSafe IP to add the failover capability to that system. And what we have to do is first, let's go into the TCP IP configuration and start the component under 4. It's an optional component. I have to look around where it is. Yeah, there is it. Configure FileSafe IP and 5, and you can see it's not defined, not enabled, etc., etc. So I will not enable it on all nodes, because there's also DS10, and the DS10 is not using these FileSafe capability at the moment. It's also a different network from TCP IP standpoint. You can check my SDDI videos for that. So I will enable it only on this node, and after that I will enable it on the other node as well. So now it is enabled, and the other thing is to start it on this node, and after that FailSafe IP is working and running on that node, and I will do it on the other node as well. And now I've done it on both nodes, and you can see here there is also ifconfig available on OpenVMS, and there can be a lot of ifconfig configuration possibilities, and there is ifconfig-a. You can see the current IP address on the interface WF0. This is the interface IP address 172.17.10.21 on the machine AXP1. You can see also explained in my FTDI video, because these two machines are connected to an FTDI ring. And after that, you can add with ifconfig an alias to define it for the adapter WF0. Say alias, and then the other IP address from the other machine, which is .22 at the end. And you can see it's active on node AXP2, this is the other node. And if you have a look on the machine, you can see there's a failsafe IP address 172.17.10.22, which is failsafe. And now I will configure the same thing on the other machine as well. As you can see, this is the other machine, and specify an alias with the other IP address, so with .21 at the end. And now both machines have a failover IP address from the other machine, and both machines looked on if the other machine is available, and when it's not available, then the machine will take over the IP address from the other machine as well. So let's have a look on the web servers. So this is the machine 21 with in the PHP info is the machine name. You can see the machine is AXP1 at the moment on the IP .21, and this is the machine AXP2. And when I will shut down now one of the machines, and then then the host name will change. So let's shut down the machine AXP2, and we can see in the PHP info. I hope we can see in the PHP info later the name AXP1. So let's have a look at the cluster. Let's first disable the message, and then show cluster continuous to see if the machine AXP2 will leave the cluster. And there are still enough votes because I've reduced the number of votes before. So 2 nodes are enough. So there is the status. Then has a look in ifconfig, and we can see the machine XP1 has also the IP address of the other machine, and the IP is still available, but in the PHP info we can see this is the machine XP1 now, not the machine XP2 anymore. So let's restart the machine to check if the IP address goes back to the machine. So let's boot the machine again from DKB 100 and starting OpenVMS. It took a while. Let's see both machines together. You can see it's starting at the moment, so now the IP address is still on the machine XP1, but now its TCP IP has started, but now onto also the FailSafe server on the left, and the IP address goes back to the other machine, and if we can reload the PHP info, we can see that this is the machine XP2 again. Yeah, and now I have a running failover capable web server on OpenVMS. And that's also the end of that video, and I hope you found that video interesting, and you can leave comments down below, and see you the next time.